test, air pressure test, these Fargola fuel lines and fittings. I've got 60 PSI on it right now. I've got that little piece of tape right where the pointer arrow is on 60 pounds. And I'm going to bubble test these fittings. See how things work out. I wanted to have this blue tape on here to say what line this was. I've got it marked here, so that is a return line. So let me move the tape because it's right over one of the places I want to bubble test. I'm just going to remark that. It's moved a little bit, but maybe that's due to, what would it be, the altitude, or, I don't know, tell me. I'm not really knowing what I'm thinking about. It's, sometimes air pressure will change in something due to, I think like the pounds per square inch is like 27 at, 27 3/4 at sea level. So, don't want to get too scientific here because that's not my department. Pretty good little soap here. It's, you know, at 60 pounds, I would see something. And this is an area here. These fittings in this area are going to be back behind the fuel tank when I move it over. So I really want to make sure these are good, because once I put it back together, I won't be able to see those fittings when I go to put fuel in it. So just want to spend a little bit more time making sure this is good to go. That all still looks pretty good. I've got a regulator up front here off of, let's see what it's, yeah, it's at like, the regulator is at like 61 pounds. The system will run on like 58 pounds. They want to see 58 to 60 pounds. So I figured I would put at least 60 pounds in it to check it. I think they were saying that regulator would handle up to 130 PSI. Yeah, the gauge only goes up to 100. So, okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, so I'm going to continue on, and I've got a fuel filter here, and the return runs from here all the way to the regulator. So I'll do those two fittings underneath. This continues to run after these fittings here, it sweeps under the car. And then it hits the fuel filter and then this fuel regulator. So I'll not do those. Difficult for me to try to get you guys in there to see any of that. But so I'm going to move on and do that. And then we'll see what happens after I've checked everything. Not seeing anything. All right, let's get under the car. Blow by here real quick. Still haven't mounted it, the regulator yet, just because I'm not, wasn't sure if I was going to have any issue taking any of these fittings apart. I'll have to get me like probably a right angle drill if I don't pull the engine right now to mount that. Might wait, but we'll see. One-time deal for a right angle drill doesn't make much sense. Yeah, I am just not seeing. How about that little sexy chrome little nugget there? Anybody see anything yet? Let me know in the comments. That's my 10 micron. Fuel filter. Let's just get it back in focus here. I'm not seeing anything, and this is, like I said, this is the supply line here, and this is after that fuel module. This is the next fitting. Like I was saying, it kind of makes a sweep in this area up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back there. There you go. All right. So we're looking. I'm going to let this sit for a while, and we'll see what happens. Well, while we're waiting on the pressure to see if it changes in the fuel lines. Oh yeah, I picked up some hardware for that. Idler bracket. Yeah, let's take a peek, see at it one more time. Yeah, that fella hasn't moved in probably 10 minutes. Didn't see any bubbles, but here's one that I addressed a couple of weeks back, and I had a good input from Oli's Garage. I was looking at putting my throttle cable here, but he was suggesting that I move it back to this point because of the fact that at this point, it's such a bend. My pedal reaches up to the top in this area where my cable's going to pick up. So I got to consider that. So anyway, he was mentioning this coming from this point. So I have picked up a bracket here that was off of a TV stand, a wall mount. Let's just take a look at it. So I'm going to cut this down. Instead of buying a bracket and modifying it possibly for $100, I'd rather try to just modify something for free $99. And I don't know if you guys, usually those brackets will mount to a carburetor stud here, and it will come off, and then it will have something in this area that gets screwed down so it doesn't do the Watusi right here. So what I was thinking with this bracket, looks like I have enough shoulder material on here that I can get this thing bolted into this area. Now I'm picking up that bolt and this bolt. Now I won't have any of the Watusi action going on. And then I would just bring this up into this area and either add a washer or two underneath to get this thing to where when this does stroke, that it runs pretty much most of the time level with this bracket where it's going to bolt up. I've got a hole, some holes already in this for springs and for the cable bracket. Not sure what to call that. The housing, the cable housing. So it has like an area to bolt the housing here that holds that cable housing rigid. And then I'll end up figuring out how to make some kind of a place here where I bolt it in, keep that rigid. And then it just allows the cable to slide back and forth inside of it. So that's where I'm headed in that direction. But if you guys can, comments are always welcome. I'm going to end up doing what I think is best. But there was a comment not too long ago about this idler pulley, and I changed my mind on how I wanted to run that. And now Ollie's has suggested that I do something different here, so I'm going to go that way. But I want to hear what you have to say. So we're going to leave this one here, and let's go back and take one more peek at this regulator here and see where we're at. That one still looks the same. Let's run over here and look at this Harbor Freight action $10 one. So we're at the same spot. So I think we're good to go. But I'm going to let this set on it for a while and do some more double checking. And make sure it's going to hold, have 100% warm and fuzzy, because you got to have 100% warm and fuzzy when you're doing this stuff. You just can't sleep at night if you don't have that warm and fuzzy. That's looking pretty sexy. So we're moving forward. That's what we need to do, is move forward. No more of these cut and reef weld and Bondo. I don't need those step backs. But this will be, the firewall will be something that I will address eventually. But hey, right on everybody. It's looking good. And we'll see you soon.